Hey, Mr. Kelly, these are my responses for the questions for lab number 3. The experimental errors in our lab are A, we could have not pulled the rocket back the same amount each time we launched it, and B, there could have been wind, which could have altered the flight of the rocket. Number 2, according to our data, the 45-degree angle, when we launched that one, it provided the greatest range, and the 80-degree angle provided the greatest flight time. According to our textbook, it should have been the same thing. 45 was the greatest range, and 80 was the greatest flight time. Number 4, yes, our answers for 2 and 3 should technically be the same because the book is correct, and theoretically we should have came up with the same answers. Number 5, the big assumption that we're making is that there is no air resistance in this situation. We neglect it because it's so tiny. Number 6, if this were done in a large vacuum, our results would reflect the ideal situation where there is no air resistance. We already do our calculations neglecting it, so doing it in the vacuum would make our experiment and calculations even more precise. Air resistance does not play a huge role in our experiment because it's so tiny because we're moving at such a slow speed, nor is there much surface area to the rocket, so it doesn't really affect it. Number 7, a weakness of our rocket was it was not weighted properly. We didn't have the clips in the correct spot, and also they were not very secure to the rocket, so it kept falling apart. And then a strength of our lab would be the aerodynamics. We purposely modeled it off of rockets that we've seen in the past with like a pointy tip and fins as stabilizers. Number 8, next time I would make sure that the clips are on securely and the rocket was weighted properly. Number 9, this helped me to solidify my knowledge with projectile motion. It forced me to do calculations that require understanding of how it works. So instead of just doing the calculations on paper, I could take what I've learned from this experiment and kind of apply it, saying, oh, this is what happens vertically, this is what happens horizontally, and I could actually get the picture in my head. Number 10, I don't think this lab was worthwhile. Maybe if we did one rocket for the whole class or something, but it was actually really hard to get the rocket to fly, let alone do it multiple times because the rocket was just getting destroyed after every launch.